And there she is on the rolling road. We'll just have a quick look over the model. It does have the opening smoke box door, but I'm not going to open it. I've decided I don't want to take the risk of breaking those very, very delicate hinges there. So we'll have a look down the other side of the model in a moment. But if you look at the insert picture there, there's from a much earlier video, which I'll leave a link to, you'll be able to see the smoke box door opening there. So we'll just have a quick look around the other side of the model. I think we'll just turn the motor off now, turn down the power, and I'll whip the top off it in a moment, and we'll have a look at the glowing firebox element of it as well. So it is rather a lovely model. So there are some quite ingrained fingerprints on it, which it was like that when it came to me. They're all over both sides of the tank and across the top of the boiler. They're right into the plastic. So let's have a look further out there, and you can see the box. So cellophane's definitely seen better days. And if you look at the insert picture there, you can see the model within the box. Now she does have the crew. So again, still left sealed in the original packaging. A nice rusty staple there, always a favourite of mine, rusty staples. So yeah, they're lovely things. Very, very fragile polythene or cellophane they're in. So we've got the model number on the corner of the sort of vac form tray, R.754. Let's just have a quick look over the box. So the box has probably seen better days. It's got a bit of damage to it. There is the model there. So 044 M7. Sorry, I'll say that again. 044 M7 class tank locomotive with crew and firebox glow. Nice bit of sellotape left on it there. So we've got a lovely back on the box. I don't think, do we have information on the other end? Yes, we do have information on the other end. Sometimes these boxes don't have information on both ends. So let's just pop that out of the way. And we'll pop the tray out of the way. Let's have a look at the back of the tray. So it's survived fairly well, the tray. And we do have a little paperwork with it. Let's see what we've got here. So there we've got the M7 class tank locomotive, fitted with Firebox glow attachment. There you go, it tells you how to access it there and what the replacement bulb numbers are. So that's quite a nice piece of information. I think the later green variant lost the Firebox glow, I think, partway through its production as a servicing scheme booklet. So we won't go right the way through that. It's got a very, very heavy bend in it, which is going to be very difficult to deal with it there. We've got dealers there looking Victoria, look. 201, is that Carlisle Street? Frank's Toys. What else? Let's have one more page. So here we've got in Auckland, sorry. My pronunciation not very good there. Jackson Cycles Limited. I can't pronounce the name of that road, I'm afraid. I'll embarrass myself even more. So yeah, let's have one more. Let's have one more place name. So let's see. We got somewhere in the United Kingdom. So what page have we got here? London Postal Area. Let's have a look. Let's go for there. What have we got? Jones Brothers. 56 Turnham Green Terrace, Chiswick. Yeah, I remember Chiswick. I've been there a long time ago. So let's pop that to one side. And then we've got the instruction sheet. Sorry, again, we're working all handheld here, no gimbal. I decided not to use the tripod or the static arrangement for a change to have a look at the model. So there we have catalogue number R754 14 11 67. So again, there's quite a heavy fold in that, and I'm not going to fold it all the way out. We have seen these servicing sheets. It's fairly general, covers all sorts of items within the range, and there's a magnet adhesion. So I think I'll just take off the top of the model, and we'll have a swift look at it and look at the body shell while it's off. Firebox. There we have the body shell off, and you can see the glowing Firebox unit on the back here, which is just clipped on. You can see the bulb glowing away at the top, and a little piece of coloured plastic. Now I have in the past just secured these wires back in with two ends of matchsticks. The original pins I don't have, so let's slow this down now. There we go. And we'll bring that gently to a stop and make it a little quieter. So that's just running on the clipper there. So let's just have a quick look over the motor there and the wiring across the top. And you can see the worm and the wiring just tracing back across the top there, and the bulb sitting in there, and then the crew could easily just sit in there and be visible through the sides of the car. I'm not going to pick that up because my hand will get all sort of sticky and oily, and I just want to have a look at the body shell. So let's have a quick look on the inside. You can see that securing post for the chassis there. So the tiny little screw there goes into there. That's quite fiddly. It's sort of underneath goes into that screw hole there. You've got to sort of jiggle the truck out of the way. It's actually easier to remove it. It's a simpler thing. So you can see it's not got a lot of wear and tear in there. And there's the opening Firebox function there. The part is just plugged into the main part. It looks like it might almost have glue on it there. Not sure whether that's really glued in. We've got built in Britain. We've got the model number there. Am I getting the model number? There we go. We've got the model number now. Built in Britain. And I'm not sure whether we've got trying Hornby's name on here. I haven't come across it. Maybe I've missed it, but I don't think it's there. So let's just have a look. It's got all the steps, and I say it does have a lot of fingerprints if you look at it, and they're really ingrained into the plastic, and they're right the way across it, right the way across the top of the boiler and down the other side. But it's a lovely looking thing. Let's just turn that around. And you see the holes below the smoke box door there where the chassis plugs in. The lining's all really very, very crisp on this. I don't think it's done too much action. It's just been sort of fiddled with, I think, in the past. You can see striations in the plastic where it's moulded, look. I don't think they're really cracks in it, but they're just sort of marks within the plastic. But it's quite a lovely looking thing. You've got that detail across the top of the coal bunker there. And I think there is there any cab detail in there? I'm not sure whether we can actually see within there. Let's have a look on the inside there, see if we can see up into that area. So no, I don't think there's any cab detail on that plate between the two windows there. So I was just wondering whether they'd put a little detail in there or not. We've got that nice load of coal in the windows. Let's just pop that down. So we just have a quick glance now and just see that a sprung section there holds the rear truck on the rails. So I think that's quite an interesting feature. So there she is, where we left her on the railway. We just got to close points 1B, which is where we stopped before, and then we'll get her around to the goods shed and we'll open up the elevated section, I think. Nice express passenger speed here. But I think we'll just slow it down for the Diamond Crossing, because I've been quite impressed with its performance over the Diamond Crossing. There we go. So I think that's pretty good for one of these old models. We'll give that a little bit more power into the curves for the friction. Storming past the station. And there we go. Let's bring it gently to a stop just outside the goods shed there, and then we can attend to the point work. Just pop the controller down. I'm going to turn the camera around again now. Sorry about that. It gets heavy holding it that way around. So we'll just open out the elevated section. So we want 1G and 3G. And let's bring her up onto the hill, as it were. We'll see how she does with the 5 coaches. They are silver seal. They've got quite free running. So let's give that a little power. Got the correct direction and everything. There we go. So if we go in a bit closer, and let's have a move away. So I don't think we're going to get any wheels, so just bashing into the water tower on the turntable there. Yeah, that's pretty good. I don't think any issues there really. So we'll just follow her around and take a bit of power out so we don't charge down the hill. And then we'll just stop and have a look at another one of these coaches. So we'll take out the power now. And there we go. So I've got the E2 standing there with what I think is a much later version of the brake. So I think these coaches are R431 for the brake. Sorry, I'll get that the right way around. R431 for the coach, and these were available. The ones I have, I think, are 77 to 79. I'm pointing at the wrong one, I realise here. So this is a coach, R431. And this is the brake, R432. We'll get there in the end. So I've got two of these, one at either end, and I've got three of the coaches, and you can see the detailing as we go down them is a little different on each side. There we go, and then we've got the brake on the end there. So let's just track back around again. So if we have a quick look at this brake here, let's look at the number on this one. I don't know whether we can see. I've got it written down, so that should be 1405. I think. I don't know whether I can zoom in on that, and can we get that a bit tighter? 1405, and then we've got the coach there. Is 1384, is it? Looking close there. But on this later one here, the brake is a completely different number, which it doesn't show up in Pat Hammond's book, or I haven't found it in Pat Hammond's book. And I think that's 3566. So I'm thinking this one's probably from the later in the 90s, perhaps. It's definitely a different shade altogether, isn't it? Let's just pop it off the rails and have a quick glance at it. But actually, I might even be more efficient here by hand without the uncoupling tool for now, I think. So let's just have a look at that now. All of these coaches came in bar one, have a silver seal box with them. So this one, when I was initially looking for the extra brake, I spotted this one on the auction site, and it was in a silver seal box of the late 70s. And it looked okay, and it was exceptionally cheap. I think it was not much over £6, including some postage. It was a very good buy. But when it came, it wasn't the colour I was anticipating, really. I think that detailing looks more silver than gold. I think those look gold, and that almost looks silver to me. And the wheels are probably a much later variant of the wheels, unfamiliar to me. So they're possibly sort of later Hornby style wheels. So let's pop that back on. I think that probably looks okay sitting there with the E2. Let's get that back into there. Sorry, I'm wobbling the camera around all over the place at the moment now. There we go. Yeah, so I think my coaches, theoretically they're 77 to 79. They look correct for that, and they're correct style boxes. We've got a box over here. So let's grab them here. I think I've got a box for the brake and the coach there. Actually, I seem to have two boxes for for brakes by the look of it, don't I? So they're late 70s boxes. So we'll just pop those to one side. Have a quick glance at the 67 catalogue. And that was the year the M7 showed up. So let's just pop this over here. So I think that's another Terence Cuneo image on the front there. It's quite cropped. If you look at the original on the internet, you'll find that it's got a bit more sky and sort of smoke and cloud detail up here. I believe there is a mouse in the picture in this one. And it looks to be sitting on the window ledge there. I think this is a Rovex commission. Let's just move that to one side a little bit. So I think there was a later variant of the M7 back in the, in the 70s, and it had 245 on the tank, and that didn't appear till 72 to 75. Lost its Firebox glow at that stage. So let's leaf through here. There was another green one that came along in around 1970. The green ones had the catalogue number of R.754, whereas this one was R.754, and we can see the various features, the Firebox glow and the opening smoke box door. Now, I think I mentioned earlier I'm not going to open the smoke box door because it's very fragile. Last time I opened it, I really thought I was going to break the little hinges on it. So if you look at the insert picture there again, you can see it opening one more time there. But yeah, probably quite nice selling features. That's an individual unit that plugs into the front of the model. Let's just zoom in a little bit and have a look at the front end of the model here. So we'll just have a look at those hinges again. So yeah, I really don't want to stress those anymore, and it would be such a shame if they broke. I mean, the smoke box door is going to stay in place, but I don't know, it'd be just nice to keep them as they are. So let's just have a quick flip through the catalogue while we're here. So there it is. It's telling you the image is by Terence Cuneo, and it depicts the M7 locomotive, which is scheduled for preservation outside the shed at Stratford in its original Southern Railways livery. The locomotive is now the property of the British Transport Museum at Clapham. So yeah, quite a bit of history involved in that one perhaps. So I've never seen one of these locomotives in real life. And again, we've seen this catalogue in recent times. It does have the wonderful page of Hornby 00 items in there as well, the diorama. Although I'm not sure if I showed this. This was in the catalogue when it came to me. So it's railway memorabilia. So it's quite interesting sort of dates and times and possibly pricing. Is there pricing on there as well as the services there? So it's a very, very fragile piece of paper. So let's just move that to one side. And we'll flip through the pages. Terrific colours. Very, very vibrant. I think these are part illustration, part photograph, or worked up photographs into illustrations. I could be wrong. Excuse the noise of the controller. I realise I've decided to keep this catalogue just above the controller and hear its cooling fan running away beneath us there. So I was having a look at these pictures quite recently when I've been thinking about the overhead catenary, and it looks odd. These are mounted. This is all on underlay, but the masts and the gantries are mounted on the baseboard. They're lower, so it's going to put a lot of downward pressure onto the pantographs. Perhaps I don't know whether this was just set up for photography or whether it really ran, but I think the height may be a little bit more critical than that. And again, that mast seems to be set down to the board, and cut the foam underlay cut around it. And again there perhaps, so it's quite unclear. So I've never really tried underlay. As you know, I haven't used underlay on the layout. I was just looking at the complications of using an underlay and all of these masts. So if they sit on underlay, they would be quite unstable, very difficult to do. So I imagine they would have to go down to the baseboard or have some sort of spacer, perhaps. So we saw that Freightmaster last week, and we said it was a noisy old thing. What I perhaps should have shown is the model, the Class 31 that I'd adapted earlier last year with this little 3D parts to hold the armature in place. So I've got that out, and we'll have a quick glance at that before we go today, because it just demonstrates how much quieter you can get them if you hold the armature still and don't allow it to chatter up and down. So again, some truly wonderful pages in this catalogue. I suppose we should speed up a little bit. The last few videos really have gone on a little longer than I'd anticipated when I began to make them. So let's look through there. These wonderful figures there that could be put in the coaches. And then the battle space range, the turbo car, yellow helicopter, some additional extra bits for the trackside to liven up the layout perhaps. And then the signalling, and there's that diorama. And it's a truly wonderful thing. It has the Hornby 00 buildings in it, engine sheds, and some Hornby 00 derived models there that were absorbed into the range in the late 60s. So yeah, it's a nice picture to study, that one. And there is some more of those, the buildings in question, look. So let's leaf through to the end here. There we go. Just a couple of more pages there. And you can see there they did do all the underlay sections with the cutouts for the track work to drop into, and the point motors on the edges. So no underlay for the turntable though. And then that wonderful motorway system on the back there. These road rail trucks look great, don't they? You can transfer onto the railway. So let's pop that away, and the old freight depot again. So let's pop that away, and we'll put that down there for now. Let's see what we're going to do with this. Let's put the M7 back onto the outside line, I think. So we just need to flip a couple of points. I don't know whether I mentioned when I picked up the gimbal, it's very low on power, so if we suddenly have to cut it's because it's gone haywire. I should have charged it up before I started, but I forgot to do it overnight. So let's change this one. That's number 2 and number 1B. And we'll get that back onto the outside line. So let's give that a little power. A little bit crashy over all those points, but I don't think its wheels were really designed for this track work. Let's stop that there. We'll close that out. There we go. We'll split the railway into 2 again. So we need to close that one and that one. We'll swap from turntable to inside line. So we should have control on the inside line now. Let me open up number 1R. So that would be there, so I can back out now the Freightmaster set. He says hopefully, and then nothing happens. So of course we're using the turntable earlier on, weren't we? So we just need to do 2R there. Let's now try. We'll back out a little more successfully, we hope. So there, you hear that chatter coming from the motor, and the earlier video, I think the slight conversion I've done is just make sure that the armature sits within the chassis and gets rid of, well, as much of the movement as possible. The only movement left in it is that within its original bearing. So let's just have a listen to that. And then, so I've got the one I adapted, and perhaps I should have included this in last week's video. To be honest, I didn't think of it until the video, until I was editing it, to be honest, and by then it was already getting to a stage where it's quite long. So let's just pop that in there. Let's lift that one off. So this is the one I adapted. Remember, it's got a broken base plate at the end there, and it's some soldering iron damage in the roof. So let's pop that one back on. That doesn't sound terribly convincing. That sounds better. So yeah, so the model, or the outside of the model, is in far better condition on this one. Obviously this later one here, it does have the extra pickup on it. So if we let's listen to this one in action. So it's much more of a purr, isn't it? Slight squeak coming from it. So let's switch 0.1R. There we go. So I can send that off around the railway now. So sorry about the cut there, but the battery's died on the gimbal, so we'll just have a break there, and we'll pick up where we left off. So that is the gimbal I'm using, and foolishly I had forgotten to charge it up. I've been ignoring the flashing lights tell me the battery's getting low, so next time, so we'll pop that down. So we were just getting the Class 31 underway, the marginally less noisy adapted version that I did earlier in the year. So let's get her back underway. So we'll just give that the once around, I think. So handheld, apart from it being a little bit shakier, I can get the camera in a little bit lower. Whether it focuses or not is another matter. So that is a little bit shaky, I do apologise. So just with the handle on the bottom end of the gimbal makes it very, very difficult to get in low. Just have a good look at those wagons as they go past. Now I think if I pick up the controller, we'll get the M7 underway as well. So we'll give that a little power. Well, let's see if we can see the firebox glowing in there. If we can get a good angle in there. There we go. I wind that up a bit more. That was a good glimpse of that round there, so let's just take the power out of it a little and see if we can get the two trains together coming around the corner here. There we go. Another glimpse of the firebox there. Let's see if we can get that firebox down this long straight again. There we go, glowing away there. See if I can keep up with that. And off she goes. Let's just have one more little look at the Class 31 coming around the corner here. Lovely detailing on the roof there. I think if we bring the M7 to a stop, just near the signal box, I think. There we go. And then let's just catch up with the Class 31. I'm going to swap hands with the camera. Let's give her a little more power. And then let's bring her to a gentle stop down here. I could actually move that M7 a little bit further forward. I hadn't quite thought that through. So let's give that a little bit more power. So sorry about having to switch cameras over there. So we'll just nudge that forwards. We'll get both locomotives in the same shot there. But I think that's probably it this week. But thanks again for watching. And if we look back again next time, we'll try and have something else fun to have a look at in the next video. Goodbye now.